So we're going to look at the application of volume. Sometimes just them asking a simple volume problem, they will do that, or sometimes they will ask for an extra little step on there. So that's what we're going to look at today. So first off, I want to go back over the formulas with you really quick, just as a reminder. So the formula for volume of a cylinder is V equals big B times H. Again, big B stands for area of the base. And since the base of a cylinder is a circle, we would find our big B would be pi r squared. So over here, my formula ends up being V equals pi r squared times H. That's where my big B was at. So the formula for volume of a cone, V equals 1/3 big B times H. Again, big B is area of the base. And my base is a circle, so to find my big B, it would be pi r squared. And if I substitute that into this formula, it's V equals 1/3 pi r squared times height. My volume of my sphere is just a simple formula. There's no substituting other formulas into it. It's just 4/3 pi r cubed. Remember that 3 is super duper important to make sure that you are careful of that. So on this problem, Victoria bought a coffee cup shaped like a cylinder, so I know it's a cylinder. It has a radius of 5 centimeters, and it has a height of 15 centimeters. She's going to fill it with coffee, but she leaves 4.5 centimeters of space at the top to leave room for cream. So when we're looking at the height, she has 15 centimeters, but we're going to take off 4.5 centimeters from that. So if we take away 4.5 centimeters, our new height is actually 10.5. So when we go to do our formula, V equals big B times H, and set up our table. And so I know big B is area of the base, which I'm going to use pi r squared. If I substitute that in, it's V is equal to pi r squared times height. I know my radius is 5, and my height is going to be 10.5 that I'm going to use in my formula because she's only filling it up 10.5 centimeters with coffee. So if I substitute my values in, I have pi times 5 squared times 10.5. And if you type all that into your calculator, you get 824.67 centimeters cubed. So she would have 824.67 cubic centimeters of coffee. On the next one, a tea vendor gives samples of tea in a cone-shaped cup. So I know that this is a cone. That's super duper important to identify because you have 3 different formulas. So you need to make sure you identify what shape you're dealing with. The cups have a diameter of 4 and a height of 5. If there are about 0.55 fluid ounces in 1 cubic inch, or there is 0.55 ounces in 1 cubic inch, how many fluid ounces of tea will there be? So I need to know the number of fluid ounces. So the number of ounces is what I'm looking for. So if I go to start my formula here, I have V is equal to 1/3 big B times H because I'm working with a cone. So I first have to find the volume of just the cone itself, and then I can deal with this situation after I find the volume of the cone. So my big B is area of my base, which is pi r squared. So I'm going to have V is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times height. So I need my radius and my height. They give me diameter though, and I don't use diameter, I need radius. So I have to divide this by 2. So I know my radius is 2 and my height is 5. So I end up with V equals 1/3 pi times 2 squared times 5. And I get a volume of 20.94 cubic inches. Now I know that 0.55 ounces is equal to 1 cubic inch. So I can take that 20.94 cubic inches and multiply by the 0.55 ounces, and it gives me 11.52 ounces. So I know that there is 11.52 ounces in the cone. So there's 11.52 ounces of tea in each cone. The last one, a stadium is shaped like a hemisphere. So a hemisphere, which is half of a sphere, with a radius of 150 feet. Last month, the owners of the stadium paid 0.05 per cubic foot for utilities. What was the total cost of utilities last month? So I'm looking for the cost of utilities. So on here, if I start my formula, I have V is equal to 4/3. Oops, that's not going to be big enough. V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. I know my radius is 150. So I'm going to take V is equal to 4/3 pi times 150 cubed, which gives me a volume of a really big number. Hold on one second. I'll read it out after I write it down. So 14,137,166.94 cubic feet. That's for the entire sphere. But the stadium is shaped like a hemisphere, so only half of it. So if the whole sphere is 14,137,166.94, to find the hemisphere, I've got to divide by 2. So the hemisphere would end up being $7,068,583. And then I want to figure out how much they had to pay. So each one of those cubic feet, they pay 5 cents per cubic feet. So I'm going to multiply this by 0.05. And so I know that they had to pay $353,429.17 to pay the electricity bill on the stadium. So it cost $353,429.17 to cover utilities. Okay, if you have any questions on that, shoot me an email. There is a key in the keys folder, so let me know if you have any questions, okay? Have a good day.